Welcome back to the news at 10. Anne Mamodu joins us now with business news.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Amarachi, and welcome to Business News. The Consumer Protection Council is planning an automated complaint mechanism for next year in order to ease the process of customer objections filing. The Director General of the Council, Mr. Pt.3, had a meeting and explains the importance of this mechanism.
Bank, you have an understanding with your payment service provider, whether it's InterSwitch or who are the other ones, e-Transact, and all the payment systems. But the consumer doesn't. So I make a booking on Wakana and I pay from my account. At the end of the day, Wakana cancels the booking because they didn't get the money. First, that's an inconvenience. Going forward, I'm going to insist that you guys have a service level agreement that has an indemnity clause. So that whatever the case may be, money is moving to the vendor and the consumer is getting the service. You have the technology. If it is that the systems are down and the money can't move, let the bank place a hold. Big institutional infrastructure reform, hopefully at the beginning of the next year, very comprehensive automation of the complaint resolution system, so that people will be able to complain from anywhere.
In a bid to curb cattle rustling and prepare Nigeria's export market, multinational telecoms giant MTN is set to launch an innovative management and security solution for livestock and key stakeholders in Katsina State. The innovation, known as MTN Animal Identification and Management Solution, which was introduced in February this year, allows law enforcement agents, veterinary inspectors and livestock farmers to determine animal ownership with the use of radio frequency identification scanners and a short code. The governor of Katsina State, Aminu Masari, says that he is very happy about this new innovation, which will be launched on the 2nd of December this year at the Ronka Grazing Reserve in Katsina State. The federal government is choosing the 1st of January 2018 to implement the palletization of goods policy. That date was announced by the Ministry of Finance at a workshop on the 2017 revised import and export guidelines held in Lagos. Channel's business news correspondent Temple Ashaju reports.
This meeting with the community of customs, banks, pre-inspection companies, shipping firms and other players in the foreign trade sector was born out of the need to update them on the revised technical guidelines of the government. The guideline is the product of two technical committees in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance. Improving the ease of doing business in Nigerian ports is the rationale for the revised guidelines. At the heart of the review is the reduction of documentation required for import and export, as well as the introduction of palletization, which takes effect next month.
Goods already loaded for shipment to Nigeria prior to this date will not be affected by the palletization policy. The list of categories of goods that may be exempted from palletization, where it is absolutely necessary, will be placed on the websites of the Federal Ministry of Finance.
Foreign trade operators like pre-shipment inspection agents and importers are pleased with the reduction in the documentation requirements, but worried about palletization.
Our members have looked at it and they have come to the conclusion that it will add at least 15% to the cost of importation of raw materials. And our concern is if that is added, it will be moved to the consumers, which will escalate the cost of products.
I think that the government should actually review the issue of these pallets and try and see they can really modernize as industry and world standard to get our scanners to work. They were working before, they're probably faulty. Let them see how we can get them to work back again and improve the way we do business.
For government officials, there are plans for functional scanners.
Once the scanners work, it will reduce the level of inspection that needs to be done. And with good digitalization, minimal contact will be required.
We know the scanners will still come in a very short time. I'm not in a place to give you time, but I know by discussions we have been in, scanners will come in immediately. But let me just put a word of note here, that even when scanners come and the containers are scanned, that does not mean that that container that is scanned cannot be physically examined.
The new guideline is widely accepted as a good move, but the concerns of the business community remain. It will be necessary to bridge this divide before implementation commences bright and early in the new year. Temple Ashaju, Channels Television News.
Nigeria's financial markets are closed today for the Eid al-Maulud celebrations, but major global markets were open for business. Let's see how they all closed the first trading day of December. With those numbers, we end business news for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwaudo. It's back to you, Marachi.
You first. First Bank.
Well, it's been all sports journalists have talked about today. Nigeria being drawn up in Group D for the 2018 FIFA World Cup with Argentina, Iceland and Croatia. Argentina are familiar foes to the Super Eagles, but Jeanot Ross says Nigeria cannot afford to be complacent against Iceland and Croatia. In this report, our sports editor Austin Okunakwan highlights what the draw produced for African teams.
Nigeria. When the 21st edition of the FIFA World Cup kicks off next year in Russia, the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be meeting Argentina for the 5th time. The Argentines won the last 4 World Cup matches, but after the draw ceremony, Super Eagles technical advisor Geno Raw confirmed his team is ready for the task.
We know that Argentina is a very good team, but we know them a little bit. It will be more difficult now than in the friendly, because now they know how we are playing. So we cannot surprise them like we did the last time, and now they will play, I think, with Messi. Messi will be here, and Iceland is a very good team also, very strong physically. They have the best fans of Europe. You remember the European Championship, they did very well. So it will be an interesting group, and perhaps the last game against Argentina, we play in Volgograd, I think will be like the final for qualification of our group.
It wasn't an easy draw for African teams. Egypt has not been at the World Cup since 1990. They will need to be impressive to survive Group A that's got hosts Russia, Saudi Arabia and Uruguay. Morocco has a more difficult job in Group B that has Portugal, Spain and Iran. Another North African team, Tunisia, was drawn in Group G with Belgium, Panama and England. Senegal has a good chance of advancing from Group H, playing against Poland, Colombia and Japan. Africa has not gone beyond the quarter-final stage at the World Cup. Can that record be broken in Russia? Austin Okunakwan, Channels Television News.
Joining us now on the news at 10 to discuss the draw ceremony and Nigeria's group is former Super Eagles goalkeeper Peter Rufai. Thank you for joining us on the news at 10. I'm really curious about your thoughts tonight on the 3 other teams that were playing, Argentina, Iceland and Croatia. Did you see this coming?
I prayed for it somehow because I remember, holding my rosary just before while they were picking, the slots. I'm very glad that we had this group because it's not a difficult group to say, but a dicey one, a group that in which we just have to be focused and make sure the first match means a lot, determines the journey.
Yeah, what do you think will help us win that match against Croatia? Because you did describe it as quite a slippery team.
Yeah. You see, the Croatians are very tactical and they are very determined character when it comes to the game of football. And I know very well that we Nigerians, we have such, characteristics as well. But I think most importantly, Nigerians are on the highest teams, crawling and cruising, to say. And I know very much that the Nigerian Football Federation has been doing a lot. They've done wonderfully. We really need to give kudos to the Nigerian Football Federation and the technical department as well. So, I mean, if we want something to do to give these players motivation needed, the NFF, the technical department, every other aspect that has to do with the psychological aspect, the scrutinizing of the opponent team before the game starts, it goes a long way. And the food and the preparation, the training on time, which of course the NFL has really, proven that they are really up to task.
Yeah, really.
So these are the things that will help the team boost their esteem. They are in high esteem as we speak now, and I believe this will take them to the World Cup.
Yeah, I heard General Ross saying that we're not afraid of any team that will meet at the World Cup. But Argentina, we have met 5 times at the World Cup. That sort of takes us back, to 1994. Yeah. I can never forget that match. Yeah. I mean, I think almost everybody was awake watching that match at night. Do you have memories from then that could help the Super Eagles, I don't know, help us get through this?
I do have memories. You see, the Argentines, they are very slippery in terms of their runs, their tactical formation, and they're very skillful. And I know so far with the last friendlies we had with Argentina, which we defeated them 4-2, it's going to help the team as well. Yeah. Besides, it's a friendly match. World Cup is not a child's play. When it gets to the main World Cup stage, we say the jungle mature.
How far do you think we can go?
With what I'm seeing, putting everything right, we are going to go to the next round for sure. We are going to go to the next round, Croatia. If we beat Croatia, hopefully, I believe the Super Eagles could beat the Croatian team. Taking Croatia like the last World Cup, which Nigeria would have beaten Bosnia, hands down, So this time they're going to deal with Croatia and get to Iceland, take Iceland for the place of Iran, make sure they this time do a good job. From the minute they could get this right, then we're going to the next round. Because then Argentina, they will be very shocked following the last friendlies we had with them. And if we can top this group, that will give us more edge in the second round, which of course I believe we can do it.
Well, I believe that we can, but what will help further motivate us to go beyond the next round of the round of 16 at the World Cup in Russia? Because I'm hoping that we get to the finals.
I think one thing is the determination. Look, for instance, when we went to World Cup '94, that was our first time. We were very determined. That was one. Secondly, the discipline was at its peak. We were very disciplined. We never had experience of World Cup. We never knew, we never played in the World Cup stage. Our technical department as well had never been to World Cup before, and never had it tough in the profession. But with Ganatro, this is a man, it's more of, you call him an Igbo man. This man is soaked into the game of football. And good 18, he's doing a good job. He understands the African football and he understands the European football. He's a German. These are hardened European, nation. Yeah. So having such a man in the Super Eagles technical department is really going to make us, have that high esteem as well. When you look at our technical department, and the discipline as well. And it's a man of not taking nonsense as well. So I believe with such technical, strength and the high esteem of the players now, the Nigerian Football Federation also making sure no stone
is left
is left untouched.
And
so
I
think with this we'll go far.
And of course Nigerians will be praying. I know that for sure.
Trust Nigerians. We are so passionate, and our supporters team too as well. They are very tough. They never say never die. Yeah. Until the last
wishing them all of the best. Thank you so much, Peter Rufai, for joining us on the News at 10. Well, still ahead, more sports stories as CAF is set to give African teams $500,000 to compete in the World Cup. We'll have more on that after the break. Stay with us.